Hi, my name's Peter Vodden, sometimes known as the Digital Tinkerer, and this video addresses the problem that you've encountered if you have populated some folders on a USB drive with some music files, intending to plug it into your car or some other hardware type MP3 player such as the CD radio old-fashioned unit in your front room or something like that, and you find that it plays the songs in the wrong sequence. It either plays them typically in alphabetic order, or worst case scenario, it simply plays the files in the order in which you dropped them onto the USB drive. So in either of those cases, this is the simple workaround that you would use. Now, I've created this video for people like me who are inexperienced in the Mac operating system. Until about a week ago, I'd never used a Mac machine. I didn't really know much about how that operating system works. So the video's split into chapters. Chapters 2 through 9 go through very, very slowly, step by step, in fine detail, going from how to set up the environment, create desktop folders, and so on and so forth. If you're an experienced Mac user and you already know things like how to create folders and locate and copy music files, and you know about things like the complications of different music file formats and all that kind of stuff, then you can skip a lot of this. All you'll need as an experienced user is to look at chapters 4 and 5, how to go and get yourself a free ID3 Tag Editor, which is what you'll need for this workaround, and then skip forward to chapter 9, which will show you how to use that tool to fix the music files. If you're a Windows user, skip straight to chapter 10 and see it being done using the same tool, Picard, on a Windows environment. Okay. So here I am in a Mac environment. This is actually an emulation, and so the Mac version that I'm emulating here is an old one. It's Catalina. But the differences between this Mac OS and the one you're running shouldn't be so great as to invalidate anything I'm going to say. Now, I'm going to do this project on the desktop, which is the obvious place to do short-term projects. And so, because I'm going to be making extensive use of the Finder app, I'm just going to make a few changes to that, which will make this project a bit easier. The first change I'm going to make is under the Preferences, in the General tab, I'm going to set the Finder preferences so that it automatically opens the desktop when I launch the Finder. That's for the duration of this project. It'll just always take me to the place where I'm working. The next thing I'm going to do is use the sidebar preferences and add in my music folder to the locations that are shown by default in the sidebar of the Finder. That's going to make it easier to get quickly to the music folder. And the third change, this is quite important one, is under the Advanced tab, I'm going to check Show File Name Extensions. That's because I expect there's going to be different formats of songs, music stored on the computer, and I want to see exactly what format each song is in. That's it. 3 small changes to the Finder. I can now quickly move to my music folder, and I can see the full details of the file extensions. The second stage here is to create some folders on my desktop into which I'm going to put the song files. So I do that using the Finder, obviously, which now, because I changed the preferences, opens automatically into the desktop. I can use the list view or the folder view, it doesn't really matter whichever way. I just command click new folder and give it a title. I'm going to give a title that will include the word collection because it's the purpose of this folder is to hold a collection of songs. So this one I'm going to call folk rock collection, and I'll set up another one called classic rock collection. These are the names of the folders that will be seen on the USB stick once the project is finished. Okay. Now I'm going to go and get myself an ID3 Tag Editor. For that I'll need Safari, and the one I'm going to go for is published by an outfit called Music Brains, brains with a Z or a Z, and the tool space is called Picard. So the search engine finds that pretty easily. But before downloading anything, I must say, if you're doing this for real on a Mac, I'm in a simulated environment, so it doesn't matter. Obviously, you need to reassure yourself that this is a trustworthy source for software, because we're not going to the App Store. So by all means, Google the outfit Music Brains, find out who they are, where they're based, what kind of organisation it is, and just reassure yourself that their software is safe for you to install. So I'm going to click Downloads, scroll down to the Mac section, choose the latest version, and download. And what it downloads is a DMG file. And that's it, all done. So click on this icon, open it up in Finder, and now I can see the DMG file. So it's only necessary for me to open that DMG, which will access the contents of that virtual drive. There it is, and traditionally here it's only then necessary to just pick up the app that you want and just drop it into your applications folder. It copies that and you've got Music Brains available. Now I'll just tidy up my desktop because this disk image I no longer need. I have the software installed. I'll pop that in the bin. And there is one small setup to do with the Picard software. So I'll open the Picard app, and the first time you use this app you may see two panels like this, which is a little bit confusing. If you do see just the two panels, don't worry. All you need to do, and this is the setup, just click on the view option here and make sure that your file browsing view is included. And there we go. I can now see the folder structure on my Mac as well as these two panes. In fact, you can drag this divider across because we won't be using the right hand pane for this purpose. So that's it, Picard is now ready to go. Now I'm going to populate one of these collection folders, as I've called them, on the desktop. So let's start with this one, the folk rock collection. And in order to go and find the music files from my hard drive, I'm going to need another window. So I go up top left here, new Finder window, and size it appropriately. Go to my music folder. Now there's a number of ways I could do this. I could simply go digging around inside the music folder, So inside there's a number of other folders. I'm looking for some stuff that I think I recall I got from the iTunes store at some point, so delving around, digging further into iTunes Music, and by this time you realise this is actually quite a complicated folder structure. I'm kind of 3 levels down now, and what do I find? Another music folder. It can get quite hairy, this sort of archaeological approach to digging through the file structures to find your music. So sometimes it can be more convenient to just use the Finder search tool. I mean, after all, that's what it's for. It's called the Finder for a reason. So if you know either the name of a song, a particular song that you want, or possibly if some of your songs are in albums, you might know the name of the album or the artist. But you can use Finder to get you close enough to what you want usually. So as an example, I know I have Cat Stevens' T for the Tillerman on here, so I'm just going to type T, and there we go, straight away it's offering me a folder. And there are some song files. I know they're song files because they are file extension .m4a, which is the standard extension for songs obtained from iTunes or Apple Music. There's other stuff in here, but we don't need to worry about that. It's only the M4A files that we're interested in. Most modern hardware MP3 players will also play M4A. The one in your car, for example. Some of the very much older MP3 players may not play this, but I think you'd be very unlucky if you found one that didn't. Well, a quick check that you can make is to just control click on one of the song files and open it with not the music app. We're studiously staying away from the music app. Open it instead with QuickTime Player. Click the play button. And it plays. Okay, that's a good indicator that we'll probably play in your car. So I just got to drag a few of. I'll take that song. I'll take Wild World. That was a very popular single from the album, I think, and that one. Okay, now I also know that I've got a Paul Simon album or collection of greatest hits, I think it is, on here somewhere, so I'll type in Simon. Yep, there we go. Negotiations and love songs. Now, here's a problem. These are not M4A files, they're M4P files. M4P format means it's encrypted, so it probably won't play on your external MP3 player. You can check that by saying control click, open with QuickTime Player, and sure enough I get an error message. This is not compatible. If it's not compatible with QuickTime, then it's probably not compatible with your external player. It's not an exact match, but it's it's an indicator that there might be a problem with that. Now, M4P means that it's digital rights protected, or it's a very old file, because pre-2009 Apple were routinely encrypting downloaded music files. So to fix this, you're going to need either a dedicated file format converter, which can be had from the App Store, or you can follow Apple's advice if you want, which is to delete the file and re-download it from iTunes. But a word of caution there: if you decide to go that route, for goodness sake, make a backup copy before you delete it out of this environment. Okay, put it on a USB stick or something, whatever you've got, away from this computer, because things can go wrong. What happens if you go to the iTunes store, you supply your Apple ID, and it says, no, you were using a different Apple ID all those years ago? And then you've got yourself in a right mess. So just be cautious if you decide to go the approved Apple way of fixing this problem. You may wish to use, as I say, a dedicated converter, or as a last resort, just re-recording the file using a tool such as Audio One or some other sound recording software. So we can't use that, and I'm just going to skip this album. I know I've got some Bob Dylan, so I'll take some of those. Let's take that one, that one, that one. And I also know I've got Jonathan Kelly's album, Twice Round the Houses. So I'll take some of my favourite tracks from there. Sligo, Hyde Park Angels, and Madeleine. That's a nice track. Okay, there we go. So now I have 9 tracks in this little collection. Yours is probably going to be a lot longer than this. You might have 20, 30, 40 tracks in your collection, but it doesn't matter because I'm going to show how to fix this to make it play correctly on a USB player, and what works for 10 files will work for 100 files. Okay, so let's take a look at the songs that I put into this folder. I've expanded the folder view out a bit so we can have a clear view of it. As you can see, it's a mixture of MP3 and M4A files. Some of them have track numbers which came from the original position that they were in an album. Some of them don't have numbers. This is typical of the kind of scenario you're going to encounter. Now, if you don't care in what order these play in the car, if you're just going to hit the shuffle button, then you don't need to do anything else. This folder can be copied to a USB stick and that's fine, you're hunky-dory. But there are many reasons why you might want them to play in a specific order. This might be some kind of sentimental playlist from way back when and you want to hear it in the same sequence. It could be classical music. These could be 3 symphonies with 3 parts each that wouldn't make sense if listened to in the wrong order. Or they could be chapters of an audiobook, which again would not make sense if heard in sequence of the alphabetic titles of each chapter. So there could be many reasons. Let's assume we do want to ensure that these play in the correct order. And the steps to do that involve, first of all, renumbering the file names. These file names here that we see. Now, before you say, just a moment, I thought you said hardware MP3 players don't sequence by the file names. They play in order of the title tag. Yes, that's true. But the quickest and fastest way to get those numbers into the title tag is to first put them in the file names. That sounds a bit weird, but stick with me and you'll see why I do this. Okay. The second reason I usually number the file names is that then that ensures that the same sequence is heard whether I'm listening to this folder on the computer, in which case it will play in file name order, or in the car, in which case it will play in title tag order. If the file name and the title tag are the exact same string of text, then it will play the same sequence no matter which machine is playing. So one thing to do before I start renumbering these files, because I don't entirely trust myself to get it right, is I'm just going to go to the folder, command click, copy, and create myself a little backup here, paste item. Okay, so if I make a complete hash of this, I can just blow it away and work on my copy. So let's imagine I'm going to start here with this song, and it's very easy now in Finder to just move the highlight up and down using the direction arrows, press enter, rename the song. So song number 1, 2. Now you notice I'm using 3 digits for the numbering, putting a 0 on the end of each sequence number, and that's deliberate. It's because I just know that sometime later I'm going to remember that there was another song that I needed in here and it's in the middle of the list, and I'm going to have to go and get it, slot it into the middle of the list, and that's so much easier if I leave gaps in the numbering. I could put it in as 015 or something like that and it will just slot into the sequence. So I always use 3 digits, but it's up to you. Song 3, 4, oops. This one will be 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, and that looks fine to me as a sequence. So now I just need to apply the fix, if you like, to copy these file names into the title tags, and that is what we use the Picard tool for. So I don't need this Finder view. Just launch Picard. As I said previously, if you don't see the folder view in the left hand panel, just make sure that the file browser view is checked and you will see this left hand panel. In that panel you can browse to the folder we want to process. That's my backup. This is the actual folder. So I just click and drag. I don't need to hold the Option key. It defaults to adding it to this list. And here we can see the title tags that are inside. If I expand the folder, inside these files here, these are the file names. Inside them, these are the title tags that it has inherited from wherever the song came from. Okay. So what I need to do is select all of these, click the top one, hold down Shift key, click the bottom one, and now got all 9 files selected. And the tool we need is under the Tools menu, unsurprisingly, and it's called Tags from File Names. This is the option we want. Select this option, a panel pops up, says Convert File Names to Tags. That's exactly the process we want. This at the top is what drives the process. Now if you open this panel and it doesn't look like this, doesn't matter, don't panic. Just blow away whatever's there. There might be a long string of commands in there from, whatever was happening previously. It's irrelevant. You just need to make sure that in this command string here is the exact text %title %. Okay, %, %. That's the precise command we need. And just to prove that it is, the nice people at Music Brains have given us a preview button. And that's saying, alright, if you hit the OK key now, I will prepare a set of title tags that exactly match the file name, as you can see. And I say prepare because it won't actually save them when you hit OK. It will just prepare the output. Alright, so I'm happy. %title %. These look correct to me. They look identical to the file names. Hit OK. At that point, I can see in here that the titles will become the same as the file names if I hit the save button. It's important not to click in the list at this point. Leave all the files highlighted because we want to do the whole thing in one go. Yeah, really fast process. And hit the save button. You get a warning, you're about to update 9 files. That's exactly what we want. It will overwrite any existing tags and cannot be undone. Well, cannot be undone is not frightening because remember we created a backup folder. We could go back to that if we find we've made a hash of it. But I'm pretty confident that we haven't. So I'm just going to click OK. Yeah. And that's it, job done. That's how simple and quick it is to fix a numbered list of songs so that they play correctly in the USB in the car. And just to prove it to you, I'm going to reopen the Finder, pick any song you like, Blowing in the Wind. Its title tag should now say 050, Blowing in the Wind, and we can check that, of course, by just doing get info, as we did before, and under the more info drop down here, you can now see that its title has been changed to exactly match the file name, which is what we wanted. Fine, that's it. You can now copy this folder to a USB stick and expect it to play in the sequence you wanted. Okay, so in this final chapter of the video, I'm going to show you that the same software, Picard, works perfectly well on a Windows machine. So I'm going to shut down this VMware emulator and come back to my normal Windows environment, in which I've got already pre-prepared a folder here that I want to process. This is an album of songs and because I'm now in Windows, of course it shows me the title tags automatically, and I can see that they're not numbered, so this folder will play in the wrong sequence if I try to put it on a USB stick. So what I need to do is go and get a copy of Picard, which is quite simple to do. Let's just shrink this window down so it fits in the video. There we go. It remembered that I've been there already, so here's the Music Brains website, downloads. Now I'm going to use a portable installer, which means that it won't affect my Windows registry in any way. I could use the normal installer, but why bother when you can have a file that you can just carry around with you and use anywhere. I'll go for the portable version. It downloads. Here in my downloads indicator, it's showing as present now. There it is. Showing folder. Here's the file. You can see I practiced this before. I've got 2 copies now. This is the most recent one. So I'll just do what every sensible person would do, having downloaded a .exe executable file, which is just right click and run my virus checker on it. Don't run anything from the internet unless you've checked it. Says it's clean. Okay, I'll just take a copy of that, pop it on my desktop. So I have everything I need now to fix this folder. Launch the Picard app. Takes a moment first time. There we go. I'll move this over so that I can see the Picard interface and my folder at the same time. As before, if you don't see your folder structure in here, just go View, check the File Browser box, arrange these panels. We won't need that one, we just need the title panel here. Digging around in my user, there should be the desktop, there it is. Click on the desktop. I've got a lot of stuff on the desktop. You can't see it because it's on my secondary monitor, but there's the folder that I'm really interested in, and here are the files. So just drag this into the central panel. Here are the songs. The titles, you can see, confirm the indication that File Manager was giving me that the titles are not sequence numbered. So we'll just quickly fix that. Click, shift click, select all the files, go to Tools, Tags from File Names, get rid of this stuff and just type in the simple command %title %. That's the command we need. Preview. It says, okay, this is what the titles will become if you click OK. One criticism of Picard, I just wish instead of an OK button they'd put a big button here that says make it so. That's an in-joke. OK, now the titles are fixed. I click save, get a save warning, yes I want to do this, OK. And there we go, the titles have been fixed. This folder will now play correctly when plugged into the USB port of a vehicle or other hardware MP3 player.